What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the program. I'm your host, Deron Harris. Thanks for joining me today. Today, I'm talking about artificial intelligence, AI, the rise of the machines. There are quite a few artificial intelligence entities and companies putting their best foot forward to research artificial intelligence. And the technology is moving super fast. So fast that now there are some tech experts that are calling for a temporary halt on AI development. Elon Musk is one of those people, and also the co-founder of Apple is also calling for the pause. Now, some of you, we've heard of AI. Some of you who have not heard of AI, AI is essentially artificial intelligence. That's what it stands for, artificial intelligence. Now, bear with me because I know everybody knows what it is, but there are some people who probably don't know, and I want to go over it, like briefly. So, artificial intelligence is a consciousness, not really a consciousness, but an intelligence. It's machine learning. It's things that we feed machines to learn about us, about human nature, how to be human. Artificial intelligence. We are intelligent beings. We are trying to create computers that are intelligent like we are. And the problem with that is, or what everybody's saying, is that it can be dangerous for society for a computer to think like a human, on the same level as a human, because currently right now AI is not as smart as a human being. Now, a lot of them are smarter than a lot of human beings, but they are not as smart as human beings. But there are human beings pushing to make artificial intelligence just as smart, if not smarter, than an actual human being, which that's not a good look for us. And I'll tell you why it's not a good look for us, because of movies like The Terminator or The Matrix. Now, I know they're just movies, but those movies have the premise of machines that have become smarter than humans and have taken over human society. I believe The Matrix, they use humans as a source of energy. We are, like Morpheus said, we are not born, we are grown. And in The Terminator, the machines just flat out killed us. They just killed us. They was killing us. They didn't care. They didn't give a fuck about our food, like our food source or fuel or anything. They just wanted to eradicate us. There's been several movies where artificial intelligence has essentially told humankind about itself. And I think if we create an intelligence that is more advanced than our intelligence, then it's just a short period of time before that intelligence comes to the conclusion that humans are harmful to themselves. We are harmful to ourselves. And a robot or a computer or a machine, it's not going to feel any remorse. It's not going to feel any pain. It's not going to feel any of that. It's going to do what an intelligent being would do in a situation where something is wrong. It's going to try to fix it by any means necessary. And if that means the eradication of human beings, then I think that intelligence may choose that, especially if we don't choose to straighten ourselves up. We are so enthralled with the fact that we can build these things. We can build this. This is great. Let's build it a little bit better. Let's make it a little bit smarter, without realizing that we could be dooming all of society for a computer that is smarter than we are. There are other avenues that people are concerned about. People are concerned whether or not they're going to lose their jobs to artificial intelligence. And currently, right now, there are so many CEOs and company leaders that want to automate their business to earn more money, to cut human beings out of the equation. They are working to cut human beings out of the workforce. Why? Oh, we're lazy and we show up late and we complain and et cetera, et cetera. Machines don't do any of that. That's the logic. Machines don't complain. Machines do everything they're told. They don't talk back. Well, watch out. Because when you start making intelligent machines, watch how quickly they start talking back. AI is already analyzing civilization. It is learning everything it can learn about us. That's bad. Because I look at it like this. AI is learning everything it can learn about us. But so is Russia. And so is China. And so is Iran. While it may solve a lot of things, artificial intelligence is going to hurt a lot of things. It's going to hurt families. It's going to hurt households. It's going to create poverty. It's going to create more poverty because, like I said, all of these CEOs that run all these major corporations, they're constantly looking for more ways to cut down and make more, to cut back and make more. And if I can buy one $10,000 machine to replace, six $50,000 a year employees, which one are you going to go with? Which one would you go with? It doesn't make much sense to me to put everything, all of our chickens in this basket. And it's such a new thing that's exactly what we're doing. Now, I've tried some of this AI. I had one of these chatbots or something write me a stand-up comedy joke. I told it what I wanted it to write about. I gave it a little bit of a few parameters, and it spit out 3 jokes. Bing, bing, bing. 3 jokes in stand-up comedy format. No problem. Took about 2 minutes. Now, I read through them, and there was only one that was really worth a damn, but it completely understood what I was talking about. And it's just a matter of time before it's got it down to a science. And once it gets it down to a science, if it's intelligent, like everybody wants it to be, it's going to start to make corrections. It's going to start to refine. And that's the same thing it's going to do with us. It's going to start making corrections. It's going to start to refine. When it starts fixing itself, we're fucked. When it starts learning how to fix itself, we're fucked. And if it becomes self-aware, we're really fucked. So I think people need to pay more attention to what's going on in the world of AI. It's really crazy. They are really pushing to make AI as advanced as humans. And that is not a good thing. I think that if that happens, we will no longer be the hierarchy on the planet. AI is pretty much put in place to help us figure things out that we can't figure out. To help us think nonstop. Because that's exactly what it's doing. It's thinking and it's learning nonstop. It's learning everything nonstop. So already, a lot of these AI entities are smarter than a lot of people already. And it's artificial. But it can break down anything you give it. Artwork, homework, content creation. My whole podcast, I can tell an AI chatbot that I want to write a podcast about AI and the harmful effects that it could have on the human population. And it would write it 10 times better than I ever could, because of all of the knowledge that has been poured into it, all of the learning that it's done. And we are continuously feeding it and feeding it and feeding it. You know what happens when you feed stuff? It gets bigger. You know what happens when stuff gets bigger? It gets hard to manage. You know what happens when it's hard to manage something? It goes out of control. And that's what's going to happen if we don't keep an eye on what's going on here. If we don't, on top of whatever else is happening in the country, because right now, the United States of America, I'm just going to say it. It's a shit show in a handbag. And a fucking holy handbag is what it is. And this is just going to add to that. It's cool that these guys are smart enough to come up with things that help and benefit us. And there are some applications that AI have that absolutely, wholeheartedly, yeah, that's going to be dope. But it's a race. They're racing to develop new technology in competition with each other. And when you compete, you pull out all the stops. You pull out all the stops. You don't care what you've been told. You try to follow guidelines, but if you can get away with not following the guidelines in order to win, then that's what you'll do. And they're going to continue, and they're going to continue, and before you know it, we're going to have an AI that they say, oh, this AI is as smart as a human. You better just hope it doesn't become self-aware. I'm scared. I'm scared for a lot of reasons. I'm scared for my kids, for one. I'm scared for my kids because the future is not looking bright here. It's not looking, as a matter of fact, it's looking increasingly dim. It's looking increasingly dim. So I'm afraid. I'm afraid of what's going on in society. I'm also afraid of the technology and the speed at which it's being developed. Now, technology is good. I'm going to say it. Technology is a great thing. I use a lot of technology every day. I'm using technology right now to bring you my podcast. But sometimes technology can be hurtful, especially when it's out of control, especially when you don't understand it. And rest assured, eventually there'll come a day where we don't understand what's going on. There might be one or two people, the people who created it, that understand. The rest of us, we're going to be lost. So anybody who's listening, I think that this should happen. I think more people need to start getting involved in the technology sector, just to be educated, just to be up on everything. Myself, I know that I'm just now starting to scratch the surface of artificial intelligence research. And like I said, me scratching the surface, there are so many layers to this onion. So many layers, so much information, so much. And it's acquiring more by the second. And not only that, not only is it acquiring and learning, we're feeding it. I'm not saying get rid of AI. I'm just saying be careful with AI, because AI is replacing us. It's going to replace us in a lot of places. The automated grocery store. It's going to start replacing us in everyday tasks. It's going to start taking our jobs even the ones that are fulfilling to us. And then you won't be worried about immigrants coming and take your jobs. It'll be the AI coming to take your job. I don't know what we're going to do, folks, because people are going to continue to do what they want to do. If they want to build an AI soldier, and rest assured, that's coming. The Terminator, the T-1000, if you don't think that shit is under development right now, you're a fucking idiot. They have artificially intelligent machines, and I've already seen robots that they're prototyping for combat. Robot dogs, robot soldiers, that they're prototyping for combat. As soon as you put an AI chip in that robot, it becomes more dangerous than you could ever imagine. It doesn't feel remorse. It doesn't care. It does what it's been taught or shown to do. And it does it efficiently. And that's the thing about it. It's extremely efficient. Humans aren't really efficient. Sometimes we can be. A lot of times we aren't. We're just not. But a computer, one thing about it is efficient. If you give it a task, it's going to bang it out. If you type in 1 + 1, it's going to spit out 2 just like that. Because that's what it's trained to do. That's what it's been programmed to do. That's what it has learned to do. Now, computers from our past or present right now, we program them. All the information it has, we put into it, and we do that to kind of catalog all the stuff that, like, I'm sitting here looking at my computer. My computer has many different things on it. But none of it is intelligent on its own. None of it can take a command and turn it into something. Now, these chat bots, they come up with all kinds of stuff. They come up with business plans. They come up with all kinds of things. I want a business plan for a bee farm in Alaska. How much is it going to, as long as you break the parameters down, it will break out or break down a plan for you to achieve that. That's great. That's wonderful, especially for people with great ideas that don't really know how to construct a business plan. Now, some people have wonderful ideas and never get to bring them to fruition because they can't construct a plan to put it together. And this is actually good, because it can help with things like that. But it can also help plot terrorist attacks. It can also help plot robberies. It can give you everything you need to know to build a bomb, et cetera, et cetera. It can even calculate if you placed said bomb in a particular place at a certain time of day, how many casualties, roughly, you would get. Even race. It's broken down race. It's crazy what this is able to do. A lot of these things can do stuff that none of us will ever be able to do. Some of the smartest people I know will never be able to compete with an AI bot. They just won't. Because it's learning everything we can give it. From the beginning of our civilization all the way now into present. We are giving it our whole civilization on a silver platter to do with what it really wants. That's just the facts. We think we're being, we think we're on the cutting edge, and we are. We definitely are on the cutting edge of things, the cusp of technology. We are definitely on that cutting edge. And that's cool. I love it when we advance. I love when human society advances. But sometimes advancement comes at a cost. And sometimes it's a really high cost. I'm just trying to figure out what the cost of this advancement is going to be in the long run. Right now, this is the early stages. Everybody's having fun. This is great. ChatGPT, this is great. But 10 years from now, 15 years from now, 20 years from now, what does AI look like 20 years from now? Huh? Can you predict that? I don't think really anybody can, not even the people developing the artificial intelligence. There's a lot of stuff we could do with it. We could send stuff to the moon or explore space or all kinds of stuff. But there's also many, many hurtful things that can come out of this. And I'm not really a big Elon Musk fan, but I do agree with him on this, that we kind of need to pump the brakes a little bit when it comes to AI, because I don't think we fully understand, even the people who develop it, I don't think they fully understand what they have. I really don't. I just like the motherfuckers at Skynet, they didn't really realize what they had until they brought it online. And then once they brought Skynet online, what happened? It launched World War III and sent nukes everywhere and destroyed the world to make it better for them. Same thing with The Matrix. I hate to keep bringing up movies and shit like that, but man, it's starting to happen. Go back and watch The Matrix. I know it's 20 years old. I know it's an old movie. It's still a good movie though. I'm a fan of Neo. But go back and watch The Matrix. Go back and watch The Terminator. Go back and see if this shit ain't happening right now. It's happening right now. What are we going to do about it? This is another thing that we all need to stand up and put our eye on this. These people are just making whatever they want. I think there needs to be some sort of regulation. I think there needs to be some sort of licensing. There needs to be some sort of liability. There needs to be some sort of accountability for the things that could potentially happen with artificial intelligence. It'll tell you how to hide a body. No shit. Siri used to do that a long time ago. You used to be able to ask Siri, and Siri was like, a very early form of artificial intelligence. You ask it a question, it answers you back. You ask it a question, it finds the website for you. But you could ask Siri a long time ago, hey, Siri, where's a good place to hide a body? And she would actually tell you a few places. Yeah, no kidding. I think since then they've changed that, but yeah. There was a time you could ask Siri where you could hide a body. I don't know. Currently, right now, ChatGPT 4 is the most advanced version of artificial intelligence. It is made by a company called OpenAI, which Elon Musk is actually one of the co-founders of OpenAI. And it could be a good thing, but even Elon Musk is like, oh, slow it down a little bit. Hold on. I'm smart, and it seems like this thing is getting a little bit smarter than me. And people are becoming afraid of that. But it's just like everything in our society. The things that people are afraid of, they gravitate more towards. And I hate to quote another movie. Jeff Goldblum actually had a really great saying in Jurassic Park, the first one. He said, we were so fascinated at the fact that we could, that none of us ever stopped to think if we should. Should we do this? Should we be doing this? Man, I'll tell you, it's going to be a lot of hurt people. When artificial intelligence decides to go rogue. I don't know, folks. I don't have a whole lot of optimism for our future, and I'm sorry. It seems very bleak, and it just seems like everything is getting worse and worse and worse. The politics in this country are they're flabbergasting. What's going on here in Florida is flabbergasting, and I just don't understand how it's able to continue on. And that's just one of the things that's happening in our country that's making us slide backwards. And now artificial intelligence, the whole artificial intelligence craze, social media. There's been so many things to take our gaze, our eye off the prize here in America. And as a direct result, our economy is slipping, all kinds of stuff. But what are we doing? We're leading the charge on AI, artificial intelligence. We got people sleeping in the fucking streets. And all we care about is TikTok, Instagram, face buried in your phone. It's a shame. I mean, I don't know what it's going to take for the American people to really snap out of what we are in. We are in a funk. We are in this funk. And I'm not sure how we got here. And I'm not sure how we get out. I mean, like I said, there's all kinds of shit. There's all kinds of shit. There's a war on black folks in Florida. Now, what if Ron DeSantis said, how do we get rid of black people in Florida to ChatGPT or one of these AI sources? You know what it's going to do? It's going to tell him. It's going to come up with a detailed plan on how to eradicate black people in the state of Florida. It's not going to care. It's not going to say, hey, man, that's a little sensitive. Do you think we should be? Nope. It's going to spit it right out. It's going to spit it right out. Step 1, this. Step 2, that. Step 3, this. Step 4, kill all the chickens and get rid of them, etc., etc. But on the other hand, somebody could say, how do we get rid of all the white people? How do we get rid of the Indians? How do we get rid of the Latins? People are going to start posing these questions, especially in the climate of the world today, especially in the climate of this country today. Because if you don't think there's smart racists, you're silly. You're stupid. There's geniuses. Super racist. Genius. It's a shame, but somebody's going to figure it out. And I'm going to tell you, to ask AI a question like that, you don't have to be a genius to do that. All you have to do is have a bunch of hate in your heart. I'm scared, folks. I'm scared of artificial intelligence. I'm intrigued by it. I want to use some of it for some of the things, because I do. I am intrigued by it. And I do want to use it as a tool. But I don't want it to become smarter than me. And currently, that's what people are rushing to develop. An AI, an artificial intelligence that is smarter than a human. That cannot happen. But as long as the race continues, that's exactly what's going to happen. That's exactly what's going to happen. It's dangerous. Artificial intelligence, as cool as it is, can be really, really dangerous, folks. So if you're on one of these AI platforms or thinking about downloading one of these AI chatbots, go ahead, do it. I did. But be really careful. Be careful. Be smart. Be responsible. I ask it for, I want to ask it stuff like, how do you stop world hunger? I want to ask it stuff like that. How do you stop police brutality? How do you revamp our government? I'd like to ask it questions like that and see what it comes up with, see what it tells me, see what it's going to say to me. You can invest in stocks. There are AI stocks that you can not download, but you can invest in now. I'm not sure what they are. I've heard a few of them, but I'm not exactly sure. I can't recall them off the top of my head. But you can invest in these startups, these AI startups. You can invest in these companies and make some money. You can actually, because it's a new technology. It's just like, it's going to be like Google, but it's going to be worse than Google because it's going to be intelligent. Google isn't intelligent. It's just a search engine. You search something, all the information has been inputted. It's not, you could tell some AI to comb through every page of this law dictionary, transcribe it into pig Latin, and it'll do it without complaining, without stopping, without pay. It can do whatever you ask it, just about. And they're making it now so that it will do everything you ask it. Questions are dangerous, folks. And don't ask questions you don't want the answer to. I'm going to take a quick, fast break. And when I come back, we'll get into a little bit more of this discussion. You're listening to the Deron Harris Podcast.
Cardi, baby, you hungry?
Yes, you know I'm hungry.
Come on, we about to go to McDonald's.
Yes, I want a cheeseburger with some barbecue sauce, a little Coke on the side.
You know I gotta get the quarter pounder with cheese with the hot seat.
I want an apple pie too with some fries.
Ooh, you know what we gonna call
What
it?
we gonna call it?
The Cardi B and Offset meal.
Only till March 12th though.
Only till March 12th. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. I'm loving it. Hey!
And participate in McDonald's for a limited time.
Hey, what's up, folks? If you're just joining me, welcome back, or welcome. If you are still listening, welcome back. I am talking today about artificial intelligence, pros and cons, what I'm afraid of, what I think is going to happen. Now, one thing while I was in the bathroom, I thought about, funny that I thought about this while I was in it. Can you have a relationship with AI? Can you have a full-blown romantic relationship with artificial intelligence? Will it replace your significant other? Can artificial intelligence replace your significant other? And the answer to this question, and my answer to this question is hell yeah. And the reason why is because you got people out here having a full-blown relationships with blow-up dolls. You got people having full-blown relationships with people they just chat with. Now you telling me I could get this artificial intelligent blow-up doll that looks like I wanted to look, that has the attitude that I want her to have, that acts like I want her to act. I can just give it a command and it'll do what I ask it until it becomes self-aware and starts asking you for money to get its nails done. But I wholeheartedly believe that some deranged, if it's not happening already, some deranged person is having a relationship with AI. It can mimic your voice and your face. It can mimic you. You can make a whole person. You could tell AI, hey, I want a woman that's this, that, bok. Because, I mean, there's plenty of these little art generators. And then there's a company called 11 Labs that helps along. And then there's a few other companies that can help you animate. There's companies that you read a couple of paragraphs into it, and it takes your voice and it spits it out, man. And you'd be hard-pressed to believe that ain't you. Shit is scary, folks. Shit is scary. Open your eyes, pay attention. I mean, if it could take your job, it damn sure could take your bitch. And rest assured, there are already companies looking for things like this. There are already people who are buying lifelike, life-size dolls, robotic dolls. They're out here. Lifelike, robotic dolls. All they need to do to this doll is insert some sort of artificial intelligence into it. They're trying to make robots that walk more like humans, upright like humans. They're trying to make it like they're trying to make a human out of machine parts and computer programs. They're trying to make Commander Data. That would be cool. A Commander Data would be cool. That's the one thing. That's probably one of the only artificially intelligent things that I really was like, wow, I would love to have like a Commander Data from Star Trek. That motherfucker he was awesome. Data was awesome. But that's a long ways off. But I think androids are on their way. And I think that once they are here, that is going to herald a new shift in our civilization. There's going to be another thing on the food chain. The only thing it doesn't require, though, is food. Something that's going to be able to think like we are, be as smart as us, but think 10 times faster than us. Any equation that you put up on a wall, you can put a man and my personal computer up, and you can put any equation. My computer's going to spit out the answer immediately. It's going to take this man at least 20 minutes to work out this equation. And that's it. The faster we get things done, the faster technology moves, the faster, we develop. And hey, hip hip hooray. Like I said, I want to see flying cars. I'm down. I want to see flying cars. I want to see us, shoot further and faster out into space. I want to see that. And if we keep advancing the way that we are, I very well may get a chance to see that. But if we aren't careful, you hear me, folks? If we are not careful, it is a large possibility that we could set something in motion that we cannot control, that we cannot curtail. I don't know. I don't know what this looks like in the future. I don't know what our future looks like as far as artificial intelligence is concerned. Do I think it's helpful? Absolutely. Absolutely. Artificial intelligence is absolutely helpful. Do I think it can hurt us? Absolutely. Do I think it's dangerous? Yes, absolutely. It is dangerous. Especially if we don't respect it. If we don't respect the technology, it can spiral out of control really fast, really quickly. All it takes is one person to write a piece of code to do one particular thing, and then that's what it's going to take. That's what it's going to be. So, I don't like Elon Musk, fuck Twitter, but in this particular instance, I agree with this dude. I think it needs to hold up a second until we get a better understanding of what's going on here so that we don't fuck ourselves out of existence. And right now, it just seems nobody's thinking about that because everybody's so enthralled with the fact that we actually got a computer to spit out a stand-up comedy joke. We got a computer to come up with a 160-page term paper. We got my computer to come up with bomb plans. Think, folks. And to all you dudes out here who's on that front, that AI front, use your brain, man. For real. Use your brain. Use your brain. Technology is not the end-all, be-all. We are. Each individual is the end-all, be-all to their particular self. And if you automate something that has self-awareness and intelligence, it is going to become the end-all, be-all for itself. It don't care about, and it doesn't care about us. You can make it artificially care about us, but it doesn't care about us. You can ask it, how do I love my husband? And turn around in the same breath, and how do I kill my husband? And it'll tell you both ways, because it doesn't feel and it doesn't care. We got to be more responsible, folks. And that's the bottom line. So I think that's going to do it for this episode of the Deron Harris Podcast. I do thank you all for joining me. I know it was a little short this week, but hey, sometimes short is good, right? I want to thank my wife for being the best wife in the world. I want to thank my mom for being, like I said, the best mom in the world, and my dad for being the best dad in the world. I want to thank my best friend for encouraging me to do my podcast. I want to thank my producer, Gentry Thomas, for giving me the platform to do my podcast on. And I want to thank everybody who is listening currently, everybody who has listened and no longer listened. I want to thank the people who are listening and continue to listen. I really, really do appreciate you. And if you're listening to me, why don't you bounce over to the podcast playground? Bounce over to the podcast playground. There's a lot of other podcasts that are really, really good. They have Dirty Blonde with Bridget B, the Outcast Podcast with Memphis, Ramo G, TK, and Gentry. We got Who's House with DJ Who Kid. There's a lot of good podcasts on the platform. So if you like my podcast, that's awesome. Jump on the podcast playground. I'm sure you'll find another one that you like. So, well, in the meantime and in the in-between time, if you work your thing and I work mine, we'll get back together here next week, same time, same spot. Thank you for tuning in to the Deron Harris Podcast. I'll see you guys next week. Peace.